Alright, I believe we are clear. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is the first video I will do on this channel. I will do these videos because English is not my first language and I want to try to improve my skills. So in this channel I will try to read some Reddit stories, and I will probably put some gameplay under the video, so you can either follow the video or just listen to it while you do something else. You will probably hear some errors while I talk from Reddit, and I'd like to read something from the subreddit r/rnosleep. So let's start and see how it goes. I hope this video, I hope you like the video, and just comment something, or if you want me to read something from other subreddits or other stuff in general. The first story is titled like this. I received my brother's wedding announcement in the mail. I've never seen his wife before, and apparently neither has he. Alright, the fuck is that? There's some catfish stuff. I don't know. I almost missed it altogether, buried as it was under all the junk mail and pre-approved credit card offers. The announcement was printed on a 7 by 5 inches piece of white cardstock. The right side featured a photo of a couple, while the left bore a simple message in a plain font. Just married, David and Emma, June 6th, Acadia. I read that strangely unceremonious message twice as I stood in front of my mailbox, trying to recall how I knew the couple. The only David I knew was my brother, who was not only single, but perhaps the most single man I've ever known. I looked over to the photo of the happy couple, and I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that my jaw dropped. The man in the picture was in fact my younger brother. He was strolling down the beach, hand in hand with a young woman. Both of them caught mid-love. He gazed adoringly at the woman, at Emma, I guess, who was covering the top half of her face with her free hand. I thought it was strange that she'd be obscuring her own eyes in a wedding announcement photo, but the card itself was so strange that I didn't dwell on her pose. The announcement was either a prank, which would have been remarkably out of character for my humorless sibling, or David has subverted my every expectation, and eloped. Once I got past the initial shock of the card, I went back inside, tossed the junk mail, and gave David a call. It was evening where he was, but not so late that he would have been asleep. He picked up after 6 rings. Well, Maze fucking Tov, I told him, squinting down at the woman's face. Huh? Who's the lucky gal? He paused, clearly trying to puzzle out my question. Then, what the hell are you talking about, man? Okay, so it was a prank. If he had secretly gotten married and wanted to hide it from his family, then he wouldn't have mailed me an announcement. From the confusion in his voice, I figured he wasn't in on the joke. It sounded like one of his friends pulled one over on him. I explained the situation, then sent him a photo of the card. Instead of laughing it off, like I expected, David got so quiet I thought the call had dropped. He eventually said he had no idea who Emma was, nor who had sent me the card. Sure, some of his friends were pranksters, but how would any of them have gotten my address without David's knowledge? He said he'd ask his friends about it, and requested that I see who else has received the wedding announcements. Up until that point, I'd still thought of the card as a harmless joke, but the severity of David's reaction put me on edge. Maybe there actually was some woman in his life that, for whatever reason, he didn't want people knowing about. After the call, I texted my parents and a few of our family friends. One of my old neighbors had indeed received a card and seemed a little disappointed when I revealed it was only a prank. My parents checked their mailbox upon my request, and only then did they find the announcement. Thank God I called before they could discover it on their own. I genuinely think my mom would have had a heart attack. So far, those are the only two households that have received the cards, and I found it bizarre that David's friends knew either of those addresses. Before I fell asleep, I texted David my update. He said he hadn't yet found the culprit and planned to continue his search in the morning. Again, I was somewhat perturbed by his seriousness. Was I missing something? I spent the next few hours trying to figure out who his bride could have been. In doing so, I quickly started to feel like every other woman on earth was named Emma. There were so many significant women in mine and David's lives who bore that name that sorting through them all seemed pointless. There was, for example, our childhood friend and neighbor, who David harbored an unrequested crush on for years until her family moved away. There had been a tragic incident at our high school in which an Emma in David's ear fell headfirst behind some lockers, dying from positional asphyxia. I dragged David along to a rager at an Emma's house in college, which had ended in both of us spending the night in jail for public intoxication. Apparently, my life was just one big stream of Emmas, and none of them seemed plausibly linked to the marriage announcements. Now, here's the part of all this that I'm still struggling to make sense of. The night after I called David about the card, I woke up in the middle of the night to my phone ringing. I checked the caller ID and I saw that it was David. I assumed he was calling me about the stupid prank, and part of me wanted to ignore him until the morning. Then again, I could have been having some kind of emergency, so I picked up the phone and grumbled, "What?" into the mic. There was silence for a few seconds, and then I was shocked to hear a woman's voice on the other end. "Hello," said that voice, quiet and slow, and unmistakably feminine. I sat up in bed. "What? David? Who's this?" I double-checked the screen and confirmed it was in fact David's number. Another long pause, and then, "Yes, this is David's apartment." After that, the caller hung up. Disturbed, I called David back immediately, but no one picked up. I sent him a text asking for who had just called, then called him 3 more times. No one picked up, and I was starting to panic. Yeah, I know. The most likely explanation was that he simply had a woman over, but something didn't feel right. I guess David's paranoia was rubbing off on me because I was so weirded out that I actually phoned David's buddy, Mike, who lived in the same apartment building, and made him do a wellness check for me. When Mike got to the apartment, my brother was asleep inside, perfectly safe and sound. He didn't have anyone over, and there were no signs that anyone had broken into his apartment or messed with his phone. And yet, I hadn't imagined the call, at least not entirely. According to the phone log, there had definitely been an outbound call from David's phone to me. He had no memory of calling, and even if had a story of sleep talking, which he doesn't, the voice certainly didn't sound like a man impersonating a woman. I'm at a complete loss. I tried giving the card a more thorough look in the morning, trying to see if I'd glossed over some clue. The longer I stared at the woman in the photo, the more creeped out I got. Why was she covering her eyes? If someone had gone through the trouble of creating fake couple photos, why not give Emma a more natural pose? Frankly, I could only look at the marriage announcement for a few seconds at a time before I had to put it down. Maybe why it took me so long to realize that woman's smile had been flipped upside down. Alright. This first story was a bit weird. What do you mean? The woman's mouse has been flipped upside down. It's like, again, Photoshop or something else, or I don't know. Now, let's see if there are some updates. Let me see. All right. It appears we have no updates as of now because this story is only 7 hours ago. So, let's go to another story. This one is called "There's Someone Under the Bed Pretending to Be My Daughter." Alright. I'd probably jump down and start kicking under the bed, but maybe not. Maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know. Let's read and see what we get. I used to think kids just had wild imaginations. Monsters in the closet, shadows at the window, whispers in the dark. Normal fears, things you grow out of once the world shows you it's not all that magical or all that scary. I don't think that anymore. My daughter, Eva, was always a bright, happy child. A little shy, maybe, but deeply curious. She loved books, bugs, and building block tower taller than she was. At 6, she still needed a nightlight, still gripped my hand a bit too tightly when we walked past the basement door. She was always afraid of the dark. But it started with whispers. One night last month, I heard her talking in her room. It was past 10. I figured that she was reading out loud to her stuffed animals again. I pushed the door open. "Eva?" I whispered. She turned toward me slowly, too slowly. The way she moved didn't feel right. "I'm fine, Daddy," she said. Her voice was flat. Wrong. I walked closer, a cold prickle crawling up my spine. "Who were you talking to?" She blinked. "No one?" Her room was empty. I looked in the closet, under the bed. Nothing. She watched me the whole time, not scared, not confused, just watching. Like she was observing me, studying me. I didn't sleep that night. The next week, things got worse. I heard footsteps running down the hallway in the middle of the night. Light, like a child's, but too fast. Much too fast. And the house started to smell off. Like damp earth. Like something rotting behind the walls. One night, I found Eva sitting on the hallway floor at 3 a.m., whispering something over and over. I knelt beside her. "Sweetheart, what are you doing?" "Don't listen to her, Daddy. She lies." She looked up at me, her eyes wide and filled with tears. I scooped her up and carried her back to bed. She curled up tight, pulling the covers up to her chin, and whispered, "There's someone under the bed, pretending to be me." My blood turned to ice. I dropped to my knees and looked. Nothing. The next morning, I found Eva at the breakfast table, humming to herself and smiling, like nothing had happened. I asked her about the night before. She looked confused. "What do you mean? I slept all night." "You don't remember sitting in the hallway?" She shook her head. "Did I sleepwalk again?" Maybe. She used to sleepwalk when she was younger. That night, I set up my old baby cam in her room. One with video, just in case. At 2:47 a.m., the baby cam clicked on motion. I looked at the screen. Eva sat up in bed. Her eyes were closed. She was whispering. And then she answered herself. Another voice, coming from somewhere nearby. Low, guttural. Like it was trying to sound like her, but couldn't quite get it right. I ran to her room. I heard pounding. Heart pounding. She was asleep. I checked under the bed. Still nothing. I told myself it was interference. A glitch in the audio. Maybe. But I kept the monitor on the next night. And the one after that. The whispers didn't stop. Then came the night. Everything changed. The storm was violent. Thunder shaking the windows. Eva came into my room, trembling. "Daddy, please, she's back." I sat up fast. "Who, sweetheart?" "The one under the bed." She looked at me, her lips quivering. My screen crawled. "Okay," I said. "Let's go check." She gripped my hand so tightly it hurt. When we reached her room, I saw her. Eva, lying in bed, sleeping, but also, somehow, standing beside me. I froze. "What the hell?" I whispered. Eva, the one holding my hand, squeezed tighter. That's not me. And then the thing in the bed opened its eyes, stared at me, unblinking, then smiled, a wide, unnatural smile, too wide, stretching almost to its ears. The thing that looked like Eva sat up. It didn't speak out loud, but I heard it anyway, in my head, a voice like shattering glass and grinding teeth. You see me now. I grabbed the real Eva. God, I prayed she was the real one, and I ran as fast as I could. We spent the rest of the night in a motel. The next morning, I went back to the house alone. It was empty. Eva's bed was made, her toys untouched. Her room smelled of dirt and mold. I checked the baby monitor footage. It showed me that tucking her into bed, but on the video, I was smiling. That same too wide smile. I didn't know what to think. Was I losing my mind? I called a child psychologist. They recommended evaluation, play, therapy, the usual routine. But I wasn't imagining what I saw. I know I wasn't. I took Eva to my sister's place, 2 towns over. I didn't tell her everything, just said we were in trouble and needed somewhere to stay. For a few days, things were fine. Then Eva started to draw. Dozens of pictures, all of her bedroom, the same scene over and over. Her asleep, while another Eva crawled out from under the bed, with her eyes black as coal and a mouth open too wide. One picture was different. One drawing showed me standing at the front of her bed. Only it wasn't me. My eyes were hollow, empty sockets, and something long and thin was crawling out of my mouth. I gently confronted her. Sweetheart, why are you drawing this? She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, because she's coming. Who is? She looked at me. She says she's me, but she's not. She says she wanted to be real. She says I took her place. I started to look at her. Took her place. What does this mean? Eva's eyes filled with tears. She said she was the one who was supposed to be born, but something went wrong. She says I'm the mistake. A chill ran through me. I went online. Deep forums, hidden threads, encrypted subreddits, places people only whisper about. That's where I found it. One post, just a single sentence. There's something under the bed, pretending to be me. And the comments below. Don't let them touch you. They learn by watching. The first isn't always the real one. Never trust the one who smiles. I ran back to my sister's house. Eva was gone. My sister was lying in the hallway, still breathing, but cold, like something had drained the life out of her. The front door was wide open, wet footprints marked with the wooden floor, small, bare. They went down the steps, out into the streets, toward the woods. I ran. Branches scraped my face. The forest was too quiet. No wind, no insects, nothing. Then I saw her, a small figure, crouched, rocking back and forth. Eva! I shouted. She turned to me. She was crying. Daddy, she sobbed. Help me. He's going to take me. I ran to her and wrapped my arms around her. It's okay, I whispered. I've got you. You're safe. She looked up at me, and then her face changed. The tears stopped. Her mouth curled into a smile, too wide. From somewhere behind me, the real Eva screamed. I turned, just in time to see her crawling smile. Her crawling out from beneath. She looked up at me, and then her face changed. The tears stopped. Her mouth curled into a smile, too wide. From somewhere behind me, the real Eva screamed. I turned, just in time to see her crawling out from beneath the twisted roots of an old tree, mud and dead leaves stuck to her skin. "Daddy," she cried, "that's not me!" I looked between them, two identical girls, one smiling and the other crying, one filthy and shaking, the other calm and grinning. I had seconds. I turned to the smile one. "What's your favorite bedtime story?" I asked. She blinked. "The one about the wolf." She smiled wider. "Wrong," I said. Her answer couldn't be further from the truth. I turned and ran to the crying Eva. She threw her arms around me. The other one let out a shriek, high-pitched, inhuman. She dropped to all fours and sprinted back toward the roots. The ground shook. The tree opened like a mouth, and it swallowed her whole. We left that night. We burned the house down, never looked back. I had no explanation for everything that had happened these past few weeks, and that scared me. All of this, what mattered to me was that I had Eva by my side, safe and sound. A few weeks passed, and everything returned to normal. Or at least, that's how it seemed. I still couldn't stop thinking about everything that had happened. Sometimes Eva still wakes up screaming. She says someone standing in the corner of her room. She says it's still watching. She says it's still learning. Tonight, I woke up in the middle of the night and heard Eva whispering to herself again. Only this time, she was smiling. All right. Well, it was intense. It was creepy, and it was a nice story. Clearly, I can say if this is right or this is real or fake. I suppose all these stories are made up, but who knows? Maybe something is real about that. Anyway, I hope this first video was good enough for you to get to the end. Again, English is not my first language, so I'm sure there were lots of errors in my reading. But I'm quite confident that doing this will eventually help me improving. So I think I might give this a shot, see how it goes, and in the worst case I just got better at reading and speaking English. So if you like this video, please leave a like just to let me know, and also if you want me to read something from another subreddit or from something else, let me know in the comments. I have nothing else to say. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you with the next stories.